Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters in That podcast. I'm your host, Brian, and today I welcome a special guest. We got Chris, aka Dukester. How you doing today, brother?
Oh, pretty good. How are you?
Not too bad. And I guess how you been recently? Because it looked like you kind of were going through a lot in your life.
Yeah, this year has been didn't really start out the best, but things are definitely improving.
That's good to hear. So don't really need to go into too much detail, but we'll just leave it at that. So I guess how you been recently? I guess you've been doing some stuff now on YouTube. Lion Den Roars, is that the YouTube channel?
Yeah, so Lion Den Roars is on YouTube. It's a live video show that I do with John from Superposition, and we have Kimmy from Mama's Main Studio joining us on the show too at times.
Yeah, Kimberly Lloyd. That's her real name, but Mama's Main Studio. We had her on a while back, and I've actually been September. Not sure, but it's been a while. But looks like she's still doing good. So
Yes, I just got back from vacation with them. I was down in Florida last week, just visiting with them for about 10 days, and I came back last week Saturday. And it's hard to get used to Wisconsin again.
I guess how long you been living in Wisconsin? Is that just recently?
No, my whole life. I'm getting
Really?
ready to move down to Florida, though, where it's a lot nicer.
And pretty much almost an endless summer, whatever you think about it. So,
Yeah,
in manner
but
speaking.
it's better than walking outside in the winter and having your face hurt immediately because of the 30 degree or 30 below, 40 below degree weather.
Yeah, it's probably what people actually snowbird a good bit down to Florida, so you can see why. So,
Yeah,
right,
I don't blame them.
actually, it's safe on my parents too. They tend to snowbird down there, and then they just do their own little, they call it tour, quote unquote, just to kind of poke fun at them too. But it's pretty much what they always do every year now, since they're not both retired. So, yeah. But nonetheless, Chris, I guess we have to elaborate on everything else here too, including the Lion Down Roars little podcast channel, if we want to call that there too. But first off, Chris, welcome to our podcast here, mate. And the way it's going to work is, I just want to ask you some questions. I want to get to know you more, both as the individual here too. Because do you play any other instruments, or are you just mainly helping out with the indie bands and everything?
I do not play any instruments, but I do have a couple of music projects on Spotify that I use loops and beats to put together. But that was just to have some fun and help out with another project out there that the Flying Beats overseas. It was a playlist project they had.
All right. Well, in that case here too, I guess tell us your backstory here. I guess what's your whole story? I guess how'd you become Dukester at one point, or Duke Star? I'm not too sure if it's spelled the same thing.
It's Dukester and I. But probably about back in 2012, I was doing Christian music reviews, and then it turned into a syndicated radio show on a couple of independent stations. And it was fun, but I decided to go back to school because I wasn't liking how my career was going. So I gave it up, went back to school, graduated in 2023 with my master's degree, and said, I need a hobby. So I started looking at, what can I do? And I was getting kind of tired of the mainstream music, so I looked around and said, hey, wait, there's so many good bands in Wisconsin. So I started doing a podcast to highlight them. Then wait, if there's so many good bands here, what else is out there? And slowly my hobby turned into almost a second full-time job. And it's been great since.
Yeah, I would say I was sort of the same way, but mine, I always delved into the business world. But this whole thing came about because of COVID here too, with All Music Matters and that. So we kept ourselves busy, to say the least. So, and was it always called Dukester Podcast, or I guess when did that come about?
When I started in 2023, it became Dukester. The Duke is a family name, so the last name is Ducro. So it's like my dad is known as Duke, my grandpa was known as Duke, but me, I'm not Duke. I'm not my dad. So I chose Dukester as the name to go with.
Well, that explains a lot. So, there was a guy at my school. He also had like the little Duke in front of it. It was like Dukovich. So, and in a joking sort of way, I always call him Dookie, Dukie. So, it's only when I see Duke, it's the first thing that comes to mind. So, all right, but I guess
I've called my dad that a few times.
yeah. Not the other Dookie. No, it's still got the
Yeah.
UK IE involved. So, eh. But I guess it's lined in roars with John from Superposition and Kim. I guess do you guys form this recently, or is this kind of been something in the works?
Oh, we basically started a little while ago. I think we were up to about 32 shows now. We took a few weeks off in December, but I met them in person last July. I went down to Florida because my in-laws at the time were living down, or they lived down there. There's not my in-laws anymore. But we were down there visiting and said, hey, let's meet up for lunch. And we met for lunch and we started talking about what the future held. And me and John both had the same idea of creating a show to highlight. We were going to do metal bands originally, but now any indie band is welcome to come on the show.
That's pretty cool. Actually, I did see the one with Asphalt Jungle. C. Stevens. I don't want to pronounce his first name wrong there too, because if you say there's Asphalt, I'm sorry if I pronounce your last name or first name wrong there too. So we'll just say C. Stevens because that's normally how he was kind of rolling with when he actually came on my podcast. And I was actually getting ready to yell because it was going to be like, you forgot to tell him your story of your little tour band you did with the Navy. So, and
that would have been interesting.
It would have been, but he brought that up because he did some time in the Navy, and they formed this little Tory band. The guy went to various parts of Europe, and I think he said some parts of Asia, and I'm not sure if he said some parts of Middle. Oh yeah, he did say some parts of Middle East because they roll up to these Muslim countries who wanted to see like this punk rock group, or I guess whatever genre he was doing at the time. So, seeing this, shout out to Asphalt Jungle. So. Right. I guess what other projects do you have, including, I guess, the obvious little banner behind you with www.myindieverse.com?
Yes, MyUniverse.com was created by Mark Opperman, who is part of Animated Gods, Garden of Alice, and I think he has one or two other bands that he's in. But he was getting tired of how Facebook was limiting every time he tried to post, so he wanted to create a platform for the creative type to post and get to know each other better and not face being restricted because, you shared too many times. So then he brought me on. I think he started it back in December. And then we were talking. We had similar ideas. So he brought me on to help him build the platform out. So I've been doing a lot for them. I slowed down on the Dukester podcast, or the playlists, so I could spend more time there. Granted, the way this year went, I had to devote a lot of time to myself to get into a better spot mentally, but now I'm ready to get out there and get rocking again.
That's good to hear. I guess what other projects are you currently working with outside of the ones we just mentioned here too? Are you doing any other ones?
On Tuesday nights on the Stationhead platform, I co-host with John the Superposition a show called Blood Crumb Syndicate. And then on Wednesday nights with Brian Mullen, I do a show on Stationhead called Wednesday Rally Beatdown. Other than that, the music projects, I have Duke Storm out there, which is the electronica-based music, along with Nebula Siege, Stormwatch 666, and I think there's a few others. I kind of lost track.
Let's say each one of these like the full-time job, or is this in addition to a full-time job?
They were in addition to a full-time job. My full-time job was eliminated back in January to really start off the year, and I've just realized that I've got a back issue, so I'm fighting for my disability. Hopefully that gets approved, but doing whatever I can to stay busy.
Distracted, also to say the least. So I can see why. Cool.
Yeah.
Hope you feel better today. So here's hoping.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I can say my back does a lot better in Florida than it does in Wisconsin for some strange reason.
Really? If it might be the warm weather?
I think so, or being able to be in a pool a lot more. Because in Wisconsin, it's like, yeah, if we had a pool, I'd maybe be in maybe once a month, if that.
But you only get to like use it for like 3 months of the year, or maybe 4 if you're lucky, if it's still good in September or October. So
Exactly.
so I can say why. Actually, which part of Wisconsin? Are you close to Madison or any of the big cities?
Yeah, I'm in Milwaukee.
Right?
So about an hour and a half from Madison.
I guess how is it this time of the year? I guess we bring out all the brewers and everything.
Yeah, it gets kind of crazy. We got our summer festivals are starting up now. I forgot which one is this weekend, but I know Summerfest is coming end of the month, which they run for 3 straight weekends. And then you got State Fair. Like everything just happens all at once, it seems.
That's pretty cool. And actually, I do have a question about the music scene, but I will tie it with COVID here in just a moment. But I guess first off, this one might be a little bit hard, but here's how it goes. I guess for all the projects you do, including, I guess, the ones you did in the past and even up to this point, I guess what was it that really motivated you to go out there and start the whole Dukester and everything?
What really motivated me was realizing how many bands were in my own neighborhood, basically, or my own backyard that I never heard of, and how much talent they had compared to what I was listening to. So it gave me the motivation to want to help them get out to more people. Because, nothing wrong with the mainstream bands, but listen to the radio, you hear the same thing constantly. So it gets kind of boring after a while.
I think eventually it'll put you into a mental asylum, especially if you keep hearing Journey and pretty much all the other bands here too. Because at work, we've been here like Tom Petty and all those guys for like a good while. So I can understand. So eventually going to drive us all crazy, but I think we're so focused on just our work itself that it keeps us at least distracted from that. So
yeah, I'd rather sit at work, sit at my desk, crank some Ice Nine Kills, or go on the indie side and listen to some Casket Robbery, Superposition, something that keeps me going.
I guess speaking of which, how did you, Kim, and John meet? I guess just by acquaintance or something?
Freaky Things posted a mascot that they had made, and I liked it, so I reached out and said, hey, who made this for you? I kind of want to get a mascot for the Dukester podcast family. And that's where they sent me Kimmy's way. And next thing I know, I had her create 2 mascots for me. We started talking through email. John sent me an email thanking me for doing business with Kimmy. So it's like, wait, these are good people. So our relationship just started building from there. And then we met in person last year in July for lunch, and it just kept getting better.
That's pretty cool. And actually, you met a couple other musicians down there when you went to Florida, right? What was it? Arcana Necromanius? Is that how you pronounce the guy's name?
Oh, yeah, Arcana and Necronomicus. I met him, or I met them. I met Joe Boo. Christopher Brandon lives in Georgia, but he came down to practice with John because he's in Superposition and they're getting ready for the Punk in the Corn Festival in October. So it's like, hey, I had extra room at the Airbnb. Yeah, let him stay. I don't care.
Are you taking place with Punk in the Corn? Because I know that's what Tim from EWL is trying to put together.
I was supposed to, or I'm still scheduled to broadcast live from there. I'm just not sure how it's all going to work out.
So I got to use StreamYard too? Or is it going to be a different, like OBS, for instance? Are you got to use that for the streaming?
Yeah, so I could do StreamYard to do some interviews, or I could use Stationhead to actually just play some music and do some talking interviews as people walk past.
That's taking place in July, right?
October 10th and 11th.
Okay.
So it's kind of not the best time to be outside, but it'll be nice. I made the mistake once a couple years ago. It was October 6th. Five Finger Death Punch was coming to town with Megadeth and a few other bands. I'm like, oh, this will be a good concert to go to. It was outdoor amphitheater. I didn't think much of it. October 6th, it could still be nice, so I didn't pack a heavy coat. And yeah, it was freezing. By the time I went back to the car, I think it was 35 or 40 degrees out. I'm like, I learned my lesson.
Next time we're bundling up, so yeah, or at least bringing along some extra clothing just to be safe. So
yes, you never know what the weather's going to be up here.
Well, I know fans can't back out of it for the obvious reasons because of their political views and that sort of stuff. But is Frostband and all those guys still showing up?
Yeah, Frostband will still be there. I'm sure he's still a big part in it. In fact, I think he's actually going to be in the States. I don't remember if that was this month or next month that they're doing a tour down in Texas, which will be interesting.
With Spock, those boys.
Yes.
So, yeah. Actually, everyone we just mentioned here too has been on the podcast here at some point. All right. Shout out to all those bands. Good luck this year. So, And I guess what's your gear have you been trying to use for all your projects right here? I guess you're just using the computer mic, or I guess what do you got to make the magic happen?
Let's see, I got a Blue Yeti mic for when I'm at my desk. Then I have a Blue Yeti Nano for when I'm traveling and still do my stuff on the road. Got just a laptop, and I got a backup laptop for when I'm not at home. So it's like, okay, I'm going on the road. Grab my backups, grab my travel set, and I'm good to go. It's like I have nothing really fancy outside of that.
Is that, I guess in the Blue Yeti stuff, is that what you also use for Lie Dead Roars and some of your other shows you've been doing?
Oh yes, that's all I use. So I got hooked on the Blue Yeti back in 2013, I think it was, and never stopped using it.
So I guess the Lie Dead Roars, for instance, are you guys just mainly, from what I saw just with Asphalt Jungle, it looked like you guys just do some of the music videos and just kind of promote it in a way, and then just kind of get a little backstory. Is that what you're doing with each episode?
Yeah, that's what we like to do. We like to bring people on, play 3 to 4 videos if they have that, or stream 3 to 4 songs from their Spotify and discuss the music. Sometimes there's other things we discuss. We had a couple episodes where Tim from EWL joined us, and those are very fun episodes.
Have you always used? I was gonna say, you always use StreamYard, or did you try using Skype back in the day?
Oh, it's always been StreamYard. I didn't like when they raised the prices on me, but it's still the thing that seems to work the best.
I guess though, I'm pissed that Microsoft did that whole thing with Skype, and I'm curious if Tim's been tearing his hair out too, because Skype was our go-to thing, and it was free, and it also worked. So I mean, it was easy to edit afterwards. So
yeah,
I mean, it is what it is. But I eventually got to hear. So though I have been seeing StreamYard used for like some other, I won't say podcasters, but like other YouTubers, they were kind of using it for whether it was interviews or anything else really. So just be working.
makes sense. Yeah, I gotta say, for the Lines and Roars, we're strictly live. We don't do any editing. You you get what you see. If it's happening on the show, you're gonna see it.
Yep. Or hopefully it's not one of those things that actually causes a blooper or something like that. So
Well, we've had some issues, especially in the beginning, playing the videos. I had the setting on wrong that I thought I had to have on, because they said I had to have it on, but it made the videos sound really terrible. So it was a learning curve.
yeah, it's almost like we should have did a test run before hitting live. So
Yes, but everything works. Everything's sounding good on my end. It was the other end that nothing sounded good. It's like, no. So like we had Arcana Necronomicus on the show, I think it was 3 weeks ago when I was down in Florida. We were at the venue that they host a show from, and John had some kind of blurring thing on it, and you couldn't really make anything out. I'm like watching it afterwards, like, oh, you can't see anybody. I mean, it kind of works, seeing as it was a vampire that showed up, and you kind of don't want a good, the vampires don't film that well.
I guess not. But actually, was he kind of blocking his face? He doesn't like to kind of give its identity away. Does he kind of do like a dual personality?
Yeah, he's a good person. That was the person behind the band, and he likes to keep the focus on the band itself. So I think the one picture on Facebook, he was holding up one of their beat products. I think it was Underworld Beats that helps your colon cleanse or something like that. He had an interesting sales pitch on the one episode of Lion Den about it.
I was kind of like a Guar sort of themed or something like that. Something from the dark reaches of hell or space or something.
Yes. He said he had to go to Underworld. They had to go to Underworld, grab the beets, milk the beets in order to make the beet juice.
Was this an episode of Beetlejuice or something? So,
yeah, I know. I was laughing too hard. It's like I gotta get off camera. I can't stop laughing.
I'd probably be losing it too. So it'd probably be interesting to get him on at some point. Maybe it's to share my story. But I've had my fair share of weird at times here too. So, all right, but we take it as it is. So it's just how people roll. So
It makes it fun.
I guess so. But one thing that definitely didn't turn out to be fun was the whole thing with COVID here too. So first off, how bad was COVID for you, family wise, and then music wise? Anything music wise, I should say.
Music wise, I wasn't really doing anything with music when COVID came around because I was still working full time and attending online college to get my bachelor's degree, then my master's degree. So I was just hitting the books. I ended up working at a company who was declared essential. So it's like, yeah, nothing really changed for me. Other than one day at work, my entire workforce walked out on me because they weren't happy about the company not cleaning the way they were supposed to. And that's fun. It's like, okay, now we only have the managers left, so we need to fix something and get people back in here.
This whole thing with Twisted Sister, we're not going to take it anymore or something.
Yes, that's what it felt like. I remember pulling in the parking lot that day. I'm like, why is everybody standing outside? I'm like, this is going to be a fun day.
We're thinking it's a union protest in this case at first, but then it's like, no, we just hate how they're doing the whole cleaning process and everything. So
yeah, and there was no union, so kind of lucky they weren't all let go. But the owner didn't want to do that because we needed people.
well, then I think it's a bit of a headache just trying to rehire or try to look for new people who want to fill in those positions. So, and that's like, we'll just do one interview, and then like if we like that person, we'll hire them right off the bat. So,
and most employees were Spanish-speaking employees only, so it's hard to communicate with them. But the owners knew he could take advantage of them to a certain extent, so he didn't want to replace them. Yeah, it was not a very good situation when I started seeing what was going on. It's like, yeah, I'm out.
it's going to back away real slowly and just go home, and we'll come back tomorrow. It'll be resolved or something like that.
Yeah, I should have known I was in trouble on my very first day. The HR lady told me I had to fire my 2 team leads right away. I'm like, I don't even know who they are yet.
I just got here. It'd be like, who the hell starts a conversation like that? I just got here or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, I don't even have a time card yet. What are you talking about? I got to fire someone.
Oh my god. I guess so. How long did you work at that place? Was it only about a year or so?
Yeah, about a year. When COVID hit hard, they started losing a lot of business, and I'm like, okay, now's my perfect chance to get out. And had another few other jobs lined up, so I'm like, I didn't care.
All right, that's good. But I guess, were you and the family okay? Did you guys get real sick with COVID?
The wife at the time, she worked in healthcare as a phlebotomist, so she got COVID probably up 4 times. A couple times were bad, but I never quarantined from her. I never got it. I was on the lucky side of things. But she always wanted to quarantine. I'm like, why? You just went and got tested. Before you got tested, we were sitting right next to each other on the couch. It doesn't make sense to quarantine now because if you have it, I have it.
Oh, like that. We just had sex 20 minutes ago or something like that.
Yeah, now you get tested. I kissed you on your way out to the test.
Jeez. All right. On a serious note, good to see you're doing well there, mate. Good to have you along here for the ride here too. Yeah, promoting us indies. So
yes, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me on. I know we tried to get me on at the beginning of last year, I think it was, but my time was kind of restricted. I wasn't as free as I am nowadays.
yeah, so was it both the wife at the time and I guess also deal with your numerous projects?
Mainly the wife at the time, because if I wasn't busy doing my projects, all my time had to go to her. So it's like, now my time's free.
I'm free. So yeah. Or should we cue Tom Petty free falling or something like that? So yeah.
That'd be a good use for Tom Petty.
You know what? I feel bad here too because I forget what year he passed. I don't know if it was 2011 or something like that, but I saw him live, and unfortunately, I think it was like a few months later. It might have been close to like near the end of the year when he had tragically passed. So it was like, damn, I just saw Tom Petty, and then not too long after he had tragically passed, and a lot of my family relatives really wanted to see him, and she never got the chance to see him live. So I was like, oh no. So I feel a little bad every time Tom Petty comes on here too. 'Cause, like, I just saw him live, and one of my relatives never got the chance to see him, so I feel bad to say the least. So
You know, I wish I would have saw him. I wish I would have saw Stevie Ray Vaughan, but they all left us too early. Especially, I think Stevie Ray Vaughan died in or just outside of Wisconsin.
oh really? So
Yeah, he was playing at a big place here called Alpine Valley, and then I believe he got in his helicopter afterwards, and that's when it crashed.
I'm surprised people still actually want to fly in helicopters these days, especially you have that, and then like you have someone like Kobe Bryant passing away because of a helicopter crash there too. So I'm like, why are you still flying helicopters? I would stay perfectly away from those from now on. So
Yeah, I don't really like flying on a plane. When I went to Florida a couple weeks ago, I drove down. It's a 24-hour drive. I don't care. I got a cousin halfway down. I'll stop for the night and continue the next day.
are you afraid of heights? Because I got that fear too. So
Not really. It's just with everything that happens on a plane, and COVID didn't really help too much. So I was like, do I really want to be in a sardine can with a bunch of people I don't know?
it's not that you don't want to deal with the crying baby that happens to sit right next to you or behind you or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Or the kid that wants the kid sit there and keep kicking your seats.
Man, I hate to be a nuisance, but your son stopped kicking my chair. Something like that.
Bad enough when I go to a hockey game, and because I got season tickets for the Milwaukee Admirals, and they would sit there and kick my chair the entire time. It's like, do you mind?
It was okay at the beginning, but then it starts getting old after a while there, kiddo. So
Yeah. It's like,
But
okay,
have
first
you?
period was good, but second period, third period, and then there's overtime. Like, no, I can't deal with this.
No, it was good at the first 20 minutes because at least then we were still getting something on our back, getting done right there. So I can see why. So I did want to jump into this question. It still kind of pertains to COVID, but from where you're at in Milwaukee, I don't know how many shows you've been to too, but how's the music scene been in and around Milwaukee and I guess whatever parts of Florida you checked out?
Florida, I know there's a lot of bands that I've talked to down there. Haven't really seen any concerts yet, but that's on my list to do as soon as I move down there, which will hopefully be by September. In Milwaukee, and there's shows everywhere, it seems. Seen a lot of great bands. Squid Hammer, Knifeback, some nice heavy metal bands, and some nice rock and roll bands like Apex Aura. And we just got a couple of nice bars that are welcome to indie music. And I know outside of Milwaukee, Madison has a huge scene for independent music. Same with another town called West Bend. Janesville, they have a place called the Back Bar where they're always bringing in bands. I'm like, it's very welcoming here. I'm not sure how it was during COVID because I didn't know this stuff existed.
Actually, was Wisconsin a little strict when it came to their COVID policies, or was it kind of in between?
I would say Wisconsin was very strict. We had a governor who was very strict on things. He wanted to keep things locked down. And it wasn't until that his rival party took him to court to fight over the lockdowns that it was let up. I remember being an essential employee, I had to drive around with an ID and a letter from my company in case I got stopped saying who I was, where I was going, and why I was going where I was going. I'm like, yeah, this is not fun times. This does not feel like the freedom I'm used to in the United States.
Actually, I thought it was gonna be one of those things like freeze FBI, that old deal, and just flash the ID card. So yeah,
Yeah, it was interesting. The one thing that COVID did help open my eyes to, and I hope other people, was how quick our government has learned how quickly they can take away things from us, and we need to be ready to not let that happen again. I mean, I'm not saying violence or anything, but I'm saying we need to find a way to limit the power they have over us, because they work for us in a way, and to make us stay out of work for a month or two, that's not that's not good for the economy.
no, I actually had a nice talk with Chris Brandon about that too, and he said it could have been handled a little better because he had resisted getting the shot for a good while, and unfortunately, it was like one of those things like you have to get it at some point, otherwise, either one he couldn't leave because I think he was in Korea at the time, I'm not too sure. So, but he basically had to get the shot one way or another in order to like either go somewhere else or go back home. So the State Department got forced it on him there too. So sorry, Chris.
Yeah, I was forced to get it with the wife working in healthcare. It's like, no, you have to get it. And then I was working at a place. I was working for a place called Briggs and Stratton, and they had a rule where you had to wear a mask unless you got the vaccine. Then you could work without a mask on. I'm like, I have asthma. I'm getting the vaccine. I'm not wearing this mask constantly. So I want to be able to breathe. And when I go on the hot factory floor, I don't want to be suffering.
Yeah, we can't have that there too. You know what? I had a bad cold recently. That's unfortunately why you're hearing me cough here. So sorry, I coughed into the mic a couple times.
Oh, no problem.
Well, I tried wearing the mask the one day to work because it was still hitting me pretty good. And you just feel that heat just coming on you too when you're just trying to exhale because you can't really use the nose too well. So unfortunately, I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. So I'm like, thank God I didn't have to deal with this because I worked from home all during COVID there too. So I'll say that was a big plus for me. So,
Oh, that is. Yeah, for me, it was fun being on the factory floor, trying to handle a quality issue because I was a quality engineer at the time, and dealing with sweat getting in my eyes. Like, okay, now I'm trying to fix this issue, but I can't see this issue now.
I go at it blind, to say the least. So,
yeah, not fun. Then I'm like, hey, that's the instrument lab over there has air conditioning. Well, I'm gonna go sit for a little bit.
excuse me, I'm just going to go sit in here for a little bit, sipping on Gatorade or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna act like I'm measuring something and just chill for a little bit.
Quite literally. So,
Yes.
but it is good to see the music scene's doing well in Wisconsin there too. And a shout out to Nuke Plant Chickens and I think Johnny on the drums. I interviewed some people out of Wisconsin there too. So hope I didn't forget anybody. So we're doing some shout outs here too. So
I don't know that band. I'm gonna look into them.
it's Nuke Plant Chickens and then I swear there was somebody else outside Johnny on the drums, but I'm sorry I forget anybody there too. So you have to bear with us. We've been doing a lot of episodes. So
Yeah, there's just so many bands up here. I mean, there's Queen of Dreams, Trash Pandas, and then you go extend a little bit into Illinois, and you got the Rising Fall, and Asphalt Jungles from Illinois. It's like, man, you can almost throw a dart and land somewhere close to a band.
somewhere, yeah. So I was just making a which we forgot about Kurt 13 because I know I mentioned about Kurt a good bit in the interview that you guys were doing together. So but nice to get him on at some point. So we'll see what happens.
Yes. He would. I heard he's supposed to be good. I know he was in the chat when we had Asphalt Jungle on. And it's like, yeah, we got to get him on the line then also.
Yeah, so do you guys take a proactive approach? Because that's how I do my podcast. I reach out to people. It's like, hey, you want to come on? And then at that point, it's 50-50. Is that what you guys do?
Yeah, I usually post, see if anybody's interested. And if I don't have anybody, then I start reaching out. Hey, you guys want to come on? Or we've had a lot of bands that want to come back on. Like the Rising Fall's been on it twice already. The Fraz band's been on it twice. Arcana, they've been on it several times. Brian Mullen and Back 45, who is now Bullets for Whiskey, they've been on it twice. Cup Band has been on it twice. It's just kind of interesting. It's like people want to come back. It's like at the same time I want to find new bands. I had a band from Arizona called Clan Fire. They came on the show. Then they sent me another band that was on the show called Ocean Harvest. And now they sent me another band I'm trying to get something lined up with.
Yeah. Actually, a couple of those bands, I mentioned I've had on here too, Rise and Fall. That was an interesting little chat we had there too. Talk about Iron Maiden and all the other stuff as well. So, interesting group of characters.
The Rising Fall is great in concert. I went down to see them think it was April. I went down there, finally met Brian Mullen. I've talked to him for over a year. I've done a radio show with him for a long time, but never really met him. So I went down, met him, and we went over to the Rising Fall concert. It was a great time.
Jay kicked some ass there too. So, actually, would you say Arcana was the most interesting interview you've done so far? Or I guess which one's been quote unquote interesting?
Oh, they've all had their own interesting to it. Arcana's been great. Tim has been extremely, has been a great guest. Deidre Patrick, she was awesome. She had a lot of interesting stories to tell, and I think that was around the time that the fires were hitting California pretty bad. But it's like, yeah, we've had a lot of good guests come on.
Actually, the one I would say was interesting was Bury the Masses. They said they're based out of Maryland there too, but I technically had to do it twice because the first time was with Skype, and that's when they shut down or they stopped doing their recording service, so I couldn't get the video anymore. So shout out to Ty, by the way. Ty had to come on here too and tell some pretty interesting stories, to say the least. So
you have to check them out. I'm not sure if I knew that band or not, but I'll put them on my list for sure.
they're a new group, so I don't know if the song's called "Hit a Lick," so I think they're still trying to promote that single. I don't know what they've been doing recently, so we'll have to see. So shout out to Bury the Masses.
One thing we've been trying to do in the Line Den is bring in bands that Mama's Maiden did videos for, because we're trying to do a Mama's Corners where she can talk to the bands and reflect on things they did in the past. So we've had Storm Kingdom on the show a few times.
Yeah, good old Justin. Always got to thank him too because he got me out of my shell to form Demiurge, my little music project.
So. Yeah, it was actually. See, it was kind of funny. Me and Kimmy and John were talking about you and how she interviewed with you. And that was before you recontacted me this week. We're having a good discussion. And I said, yeah, he contacted me originally when he just did a song with Storm Kingdom. And they're like, he's not a musician. I'm like, no, but he's on this song. So he must be a musician.
I do drums. I did do drums on that song, but I've done drums with my Demiurge project itself, as well as vocals. So just kind of fill people in on that. So I do drums, and I do my drum covers on my YouTube channel and everything. So
yeah, I will check some of that out. It's pretty cool.
I try. I mainly like to keep it more of the ones that I'm able to do. With some blast beating in between there too, because it seemed like some of the 90s they were experimenting with that. Now these days it seems like they go absolutely bonkers with the blast beat and that sort of stuff. So
yeah,
maybe a bit too much.
It's like if it has a good beat, I'm happy.
I guess so. But kind of jumping into challenges a little bit here too. I guess what challenges have you faced these days, being the person that you are and the projects that you work on?
My main challenge is having my brain quiet down. Because for a while there, and it still does, every time I turn around, hey, do this, do that. It's like, whoa, hang on a second. Now it's got a project that I'm starting called the Shattered Amp Syndicate, where I want to help bands create landing pages or websites to help them expand their reach online. So I know a lot of bands don't seem to have that available. So I'm like, hey, that could be a good idea. But yeah, my brain just doesn't shut down. That's the biggest challenge.
I was gonna say, how do you sleep at night? That sort of deal, or is it meant to be like one of those mattress commercials? Be like, I sleep all night long, or something.
Yeah, thankfully I have sleep apnea, so I have to use a machine, so I sleep. But then I wake up and it's like, oh, I had this dream, so let me write this down. Let's write that down. It's like, whoa. I think I had Kimmy create probably about 20 pieces of art for me that I haven't even used yet. Because I had ideas, then they went away, but I'm like, they'll come back.
Eventually. So,
yes.
Actually, I give a shout out to Kim because she actually did some art for me as well. So, I'm going to try to put it up because I mean to start selling t-shirts and merch, that sort of stuff. But, I keep thinking I'm going to do it. It's one of those things I keep putting on the back burner for some reason. So, you feel bad afterwards. So,
Yes, like I don't feel I got some shirts out there on Printify. I bought my bought some for myself, and Kimmy and John each bought one. And I think that was it. Because I didn't push it. I was like, I'm not a musician. I'm not going to push this, but I would definitely support people that do.
At the same time, we need the money. That's our deal. So
Yeah. It's like, because I'm not charging bands for anything I do. I mean, the website creation, it might be a different story because there are fees that come with that. Buying the domain name and stuff. But it's like, I'm not in it to make money. I'm just in it to be a helper.
yeah, you can see why. But it's almost like no good deed goes unpunished or alone. Or
Yeah.
it's almost like I think I was trying to think of a saying like so in some cases, unfortunately we need the money in order to either pay the bills or pay the man, to say the least. So
That
sad,
is
but it's true. Sad, but it's true. So
That's
I
where
guess that's it.
full time had to come in until something else happens.
Yeah, somewhere down the line. We got fishing line in a big pond here too, so we're hoping something catches at some point. So
If somebody did ask me once, why don't you charge bands to be able to play this? I say, because I'm not. They're in the same position I'm in. They're not making a killing. Now, if Metallica came to me and wanted to be on a playlist, yeah, then I'm going to charge them. Because that's different. They have the money.
they got the money, so they can at least afford to spend a little bit here and there too.
Yeah.
So
It's like, no, I'd rather support the indie bands. I'll go to local concert, $10, $20 to get in, see 4 or 5 bands, buy some merch, and have a good time. You also have a better way of making friends that way and getting to know the bands.
that too. Actually, I would say some of the bands I went to go see this year in concert or too. I don't want to say mainstream, but they've been around for a good while. And they are at least signed to a label. But I tend to buy some merch every now and again there too. So that's kind of a thing. And now it's almost like my new bedtime shirt that I wear for bed. Actually, one was
I
an
don't know if
Napalm Death shirt. So, and it was Dystopian Vanquish, but then there was like another one because they did a cover of Dead Kennedy's song, Nazi Punks Fuck Off. And it's kind of along those lines. So that was Napalm Death. So,
good band.
hey, got a picture with Barney. I can't argue with that. So,
Awesome.
I had to make it a selfie, but it worked out. So I'm happy.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Nope. I guess outside of Punk and the Corn, and I guess whatever you're doing with the YouTube channels, got any other plans this year?
Outside those two, just moving to Florida, hopefully. Getting a few businesses started that I'm looking into. Taking some training because I'm tired of working for the man and rather do something for myself where I can make money and work when I want to work.
To be my own master, that'll deal. So yeah.
Yes. Also, you do like a life coach type thing. It's like, well, everything I went through this year, I found my happiness. And now it's like, now I want to get out there and help others. Be like, hey, stop chasing happiness because it's inside of you. All you got to do is, say the right things. I used to walk around constantly and say, hey, I quit. And I was living a quitter's lifestyle. It's like, no, I need to change. I need to change, and I'm a winner. I don't care what's going on. This year should be the worst year of my life, but I'm probably the happiest I've been in probably 30 years.
Yeah. I say it's a big thing or two. But would you kind of give that as advice to other people who are perhaps doing something similar to what you're doing?
Give them advice. I would say, keep your mind to it, keep going, and don't let the negativity soak in. I've had some people, especially on the Dukester side of things, try to attack me and try to tear me down. But no, not happening. Just because I wouldn't follow certain viewpoints and I wanted to get to know, the full stories. It's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to just listen to one person and that's it. You got to have the open mind and just be ready. You never know what life's going to throw at you, but you can make it through it. And if you can't, there's plenty of people that are willing to help people out.
I was say, were there more comments? I was going to say those weren't live attacks on your live show, were they?
Not on my live show, but I had somebody who got really upset with me, and we had a huge falling out through Messenger. because I wouldn't follow what they wanted me to believe, and I wanted to get to know everything that was going on.
Yep. Nope. The lights go out on you.
Yeah, somehow. There he goes. I don't know why it went out.
Magic. All right.
Yeah, probably the timer by mistake.
Oh no. All right. Yep. It's amazing what humanity does in this case because you tend to also get bombarded with the whole scammer deals, that all sort of stuff. Like I said, they'll help promote your channel, that sort of stuff for a little fee. So yeah, little bots and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. And it's sad when bands fall for it. It's like, no, they're not here to do the good thing. That you're gonna give them money, then your music's gonna get botted, and it's gonna be removed from Spotify, and you have nothing. Or you gotta fight with your distributor and Spotify to try to get the music back on. It's like, no, it's best to just get on a couple playlists from people you can trust. I mean, when Dukester started, nobody knew who I was. But I was able to build up a relationship with a lot of people and get them on my playlists. And that helped. It spread the word to other people. It's like I'm still shocked the amount of times I hear, oh, I was the first person that played this band or that band. I'm like, that just doesn't seem right. You guys make great music. But at the time, nobody was really doing playlists. Nowadays, everybody's doing a playlist. So, that's when it's time to shift into radio shows and the Lion Den. Because I want to still help bands out, but I don't want to overcrowd the market.
Yeah. I guess why do some bands end up getting bans whenever... Because they sometimes get banned when you put on playlists, right? So I understand the bot deal and that sort of stuff, but playlists?
Sometimes the playlists, I know Dukester Kid is bad at it. All of a sudden your song will be on a botted playlist. I've had some music that ended up on botted playlists, and before I knew it, it had over 1,000 listens in a day. I'm like, wait, that's not right for my music that I'm not pushing at all. So I'll contact them and work it out. But if bands just take the listeners and don't communicate with their distributor or Spotify, that's when they start getting their music removed. Like, oh, you're on botted playlists and you're not doing anything about it. So now we're taking you down. Now you get the hassle of trying to go through the red tape to get it back online, which is definitely not right. You think Spotify would be going after the botted playlists instead, and not the bands.
That probably would be nice, but unfortunately, everyone's a target in this case. So
yeah, I know Louis Tivy and Packet Loss, they got hit a couple times by the bots, but at least they're usually on top of it to say, hey, wait, no, this isn't us.
yeah. All right, got to tread carefully in this case here too. So, and just real quick, what social media are you on? Because I had to reach out to you for your Facebook there. So I guess what else do you use?
I'm on Facebook mainly. I got several pages: The Lions Mosh Pit, Dukester Podcast Family, DPF Radio. I'm also on my Indieverse, which can be found at www.myindieverse.com. I think I'm on Instagram, but I don't use it too much because everything I post on Facebook on my one page seems to end up on Instagram. So that's all I know about it. Other than that, I'm not really anywhere on social media the way I probably should be.
We should do like a little advertising, be like myindieverse.com. So yeah. Or you want to do like the little SpongeBob rainbow going there? You want to try that real quick? I don't know if it blocks it out.
I don't know.
There we go. It worked. It worked. There we go.
Yes, I always forget that it's above my head.
You don't see it though? I was gonna say I see it right here. So
yeah, it's there, but I always forget that I have it there because I'm usually not looking at my own video.
right,
Like on the Lion Den Roars, I'm usually behind the scenes getting videos queued up, or trying to figure out things that are going on while John does the interview part of it.
I wasn't saying. I think John was kind of, I would say, hogging up the whole interview, but it seemed like he was doing most of the talking. I guess. Do you try to throw in some questions every now and again?
I did at first, but it seemed like John was able to do the interviews a lot better, and I could concentrate more on getting the videos queued up and things like that, which makes it a good team. You can almost say I'm more like a producer in a way than an actual host.
Yeah, we should say we got the tech geek because we got the glasses and all that stuff rolling there, buddy. So,
Yeah. But
I
yeah, I
guess
only have one monitor, so it becomes hard to like wait. Now I want to interview you, but now I got to find this. So I'll, you know, put my StreamYard in the background, pull up my YouTube to find what the band wants me to play.
so we got to invest in a separate monitor now. Or I don't. Are you a Windows or are you a Mac user?
I'm a Windows.
I don't know how it works in that case when you want to try to connect two monitors together, so it's still like one giant screen to say the least.
I can. I just have a limited amount of space on my current desk. So I have, I think, a 30-inch monitor as it is right now. That takes up just about the whole desk.
30-inch monitor, Jesus, man, you got it all going there for you, buddy. So
It's like I got the big monitor because when I was going to school online, there's plenty of times we had to do presentations. It's like, okay, I want a bigger monitor attached to my laptop so I can actually do a better presentation. We had to use Zoom for all that, and I wasn't a big Zoom fan because that seems to be hit or miss if it's going to work. I know I tried interviewing the country star Annie Vander, Brian Muellen's wife, and we tried doing it on Zoom, and it took 3 tries before I'm like, yeah, no, this ain't working.
that's the StreamYard purchase. So
Yes. It's like I should have known better because when I was on an episode of Boxing Guest, they were doing StreamYard, and I should have just hopped right to StreamYard and did everything there.
I guess speaking of which, how they been recently? Because I haven't seen too many posts from them recently. I don't know if she's still dealing with a lot.
Yeah, I think she is. I'm not really sure. I talked to her earlier this year. She was one of the first people who came out when everything was crashing down around me, and she came out with some encouraging help and tried to help me out, which I gotta appreciate. But I know she said some posts that she had some family stuff going on, so I hope everything is okay on their end.
Let's hope so. We need Boston Sticks back in action, baby. So
Yes.
Oh. we did too many of these, so we're hoping we're not cursing anybody at this point. So I did want to ask. I don't know if you use AI or anything in terms of your work that you do, but I guess what do you think of AI and social media these days?
I think social media can be a headache, but it's a critical item because if it wasn't for social media, I probably wouldn't hear half the bands I know of these days. And AI, I've taken some training. I got certified in AI. And I gotta say, I do enjoy AI if it's used correctly. Too many people go out there and they don't use it correctly, and they make stuff that either looks like garbage or sounds like garbage. It's like, wait a second, this isn't the right way of using it. It's a valuable tool. It's gonna be the way of life coming, because let's face it, nobody thought smartphones were gonna be around. Motorola made that big decision and didn't follow the smartphone thing, and they were basically eliminated from business. And AI can do the same thing. If you don't hop on board, at least learn the best ways of using it, it could be bad for companies in a way. And I know Randy Travis did a new country song, I think it was last year, and it was all AI based. They trained the AI to take his voice from various songs in order to create a brand new song, since he's had a few strokes and I don't think he has the sing capability anymore, but he was still able to get in the studio and have a good time using the AI for his vocals. And I believe it was Asphalt Jungle on the Lion Den who said the one song they used AI so he'd be able to sing with his dad. I'm like, yeah, there are good things from AI if it's done correctly. Unfortunately, a lot of people go in, type a little prompt, and they get what they got, and the spelling errors and everything is wrong with it.
Gotta go back to grammar school for that old deal. So yeah, actually,
Yes.
when I was watching it, I thought he said he was using it to make his voice sound like a girl. So
Yeah, he might have, but I know the one part he said he did take his dad's past recordings and was able to do a duet with him basically, and they never sang when he was alive. So I'm like, that is a wonderful use for it. No,
That's
I do
deep.
have an
So yeah.
AI app that I joined called Suno. I wrote some lyrics. I had them create the song, but it's nothing I'm ever gonna promote anywhere because I don't think it's not music to me. I mean, it is, but it's not what a musician does. It was
That's
a
how
way
a
for me
musician
to.
does. It's the
It's a
wrong
way for
sense
me
of
to get
fingers.
rid of my emotions. Get relax a little bit. Get the hatred out of me that from certain situations this year. But it's like, yeah, I'll post the song lyrics that I wrote on Facebook. But other than that, no, the music will probably stay hidden.
Yeah. Actually, we're using the wrong sort of creation techniques with the fingers, for instance, here too. It's not with an instrument or something with strings, or I guess we could also say the brass, the band instruments, or something like that there too, or even drums. In this case, we just simply press the button, or their own smaller keyboard, we should say. So yeah,
Yes. So that's like the music projects that I have on Spotify. I don't consider myself a musician. I may have created the stuff in a way, but I just took loops and beats and combined it and made a song. It's like, no, if I take that compared to somebody like Superposition or another, nice band, Asphalt Jungle, it's like, no, I'm not a musician. I'm just having fun with it, but it's nothing serious.
it's kind of the same way with me with my WH project here too. Even though we actually did cross 1,000 streams with our, it's our opening song. It's mostly instrumental with like a little voice at the end right there too. It's kind of like telling a story, that sort of stuff. Almost like a Jeffrey Dahmer situation going on there. So surprisingly, that one got 1,000 streams. So
Dahmer, yeah, Milwaukeean, unfortunately.
hence why we're moving to Florida. So yeah,
Yeah, I was actually, when I was younger, I would actually go to the one mall and hang out during the day. So my mom worked at a radio station right down the road. So I'd walk over to the mall and just spend the time at tape stores and have a good time. And that was around the same time that Jeffrey Dahmer was at the mall finding his victims. I'm like, man, I probably saw him a few times.
yeah, it's like, wait, I know that guy or something like that. So
Yeah,
he was just always standing right there doing this and that. So scary stuff. So yeah,
you just never know.
actually, it was technically my voice, but I kind of got the idea of doing old Jeffrey Dahmer and that sort of stuff. But also it's because of Whitechapel's necrotizing intro they did on the
Oh,
somatic defilements, that whole deal. So that was where the idea actually came from there too. So I think, yeah, we'll just roll with it, see what happens. So they try to make myself sound psychotic, to say the least. So
yeah, that sounds good.
I tried. But it was also for Halloween there too. So we released that first album on Halloween. So make sure you go check it out. So
Yeah, where does somebody find that? Is that on YouTube or?
I have it on my YouTube channel. It's under my name. So you can find the songs individually were released on YouTube. So just kind of got to dig for them. And then you can find them all streaming platforms because I use DistroKid, like that old shebang and everything there too. So I feel kind of bad because a friend of mine at Germany, Steam Slicer, he actually backed out of the whole DistroKid there because I guess he it just wasn't cutting out for him anymore. So
Yeah, it's like once you back out DistroKid, your music disappears.
I guess it's also because you're not really making as much unless you're like somehow getting those million streams, for instance, or something like that. So you're not really making your money back, and you're paying probably the lowest price is like $40 some dollars per year because you're most likely going for the annual package.
Yeah, I know my package DistroKid is probably about 80 because I got the 5 artists, and it's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna let this run out and not renew.
Yeah, yeah, let's see, but tread carefully with the whole AI deal. So hopefully we eliminate more for the music wise, maybe for the wrong reasons, we should say. If it's for like people who have disabilities, for instance, who want to try to make music, then okay, makes sense. So
Yes, I mean, there's things I've done with AI, but then I've always like if I wrote a song or wrote a book or something, it's like okay, I had it, but then I'll look at it, go through it myself, change everything I want to change. But it's when you do it, have AI do it, and put it out. It's like no, you still got to put a personal touch on it. That's why when it comes to artwork for me that matters, I won't use AI. That's when I turn to Mama's Minion Studio and have her create the stuff that's important.
I didn't think about it, but I think now there was a song by Bruce Springsteen called "Human Touch," so it's like need a little bit of that human touch. So,
Yes.
let's see what.
Good song. I think that was the same time that 57 Channels and Nothing On came out by him.
Really?
Yeah. That was a good enough. He released, I think it was Lucky Town and Human Touch, two different records on the same day. Like they're both pretty good.
Oh, it is the boss after all. So yeah, he'll deliver. So
Yes, definitely.
yeah. So Chris, your basic questions here pretty good. So here, so there's some extra fun ones. Ready?
Sure.
All right. So let's start here with the first one. I guess is there a particular dish in Wisconsin I've heard about that you would consider your favorite food, or I guess what's currently your favorite food?
That's a tough one because I like food. I mean, I say for Wisconsin related stuff, I say cheese curds because that's something you can't really get anywhere else. At least not the squeaky kind of cheese curds or the deep fried cheese curds. And then I guess you can throw some spotted cow beer in that too.
Actually, no, we get it's more the deep fried cheese curds, and I think I'm a little pissed because I think Buffalo Wild Wings got rid of it too. It used to be I think they called it the Wisconsin cheese curd burger or whatever it was, but it was along those lines, and it's basically those two flat patties, for instance, that had bacon and they put the cheese curds with like a little sauce on top. So totally a heart attack on a bun, but man, it was good. So,
It sounds that way.
but then we also, because my second job, I worked at a restaurant. It's a little local family joint, and we basically had these little cheese curds the one time, and I just remember having them too. It was like, so good after being deep fried and all that stuff. So I can respect Wisconsin cheese curds.
Yes, I mean, other types of food, Italian, Mexican, but nothing really is Wisconsin. I'd say some of the best food I had recently was when I was in Florida and Chris Brand and his wife were at the house with us. And his wife is from Korea and she made some great Korean dishes. I'm like, that was probably the best food. I never had Korean food before, but yeah, that was some good stuff.
You did mention that, yeah. She happens to be the cook there too, so he's like, score! So good
Yeah,
choice there, Chris.
It's like I rented the house, and then Chris stayed and cooked, and John stayed and cooked. I'm like, I can just sit back and relax.
We'll let them do the work right here too. We'll stick to the online and music first.
Yeah, I'm not a
So,
cook. I would probably burn a grilled cheese sandwich. So it's like it was better if they did it.
well, nowadays they'll mostly just give you the oven stuff that's pretty much already cooked, or you just throw it in an air fryer. So I think they got rid of deep fryers. I don't know, but or at least the home deep fryers, we should say. So
I'd probably find a way to burn it.
you just put it on the wrong time or the wrong temperature. So
Yeah.
yeah.
400 degrees? Nah, we want to put it at 500. It'll cook faster.
They just come out, it's like just charred little black pieces of coal, for instance, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done that before. It's like, oop, not eating it.
Yeah, I'll just order a pizza. So yeah. Good choices there.
Hopefully that won't come burnt.
Yeah. Let's hope not too. Otherwise we'll put up a bad Yelp review afterwards. So
Yes.
yeah. All right. So not sure how much of a TV nerd you are, but do you have a favorite movie and also TV series?
Movies? Let's see. Probably my all-time favorite movie is Scarface. Because there's something about that movie I've loved since I was a kid.
The whole thing of Al Pacino's say hello to my little friend, that old deal.
Yes, I love that movie. But also, I was big into the mafia stuff when I was growing up. It was always, a dream of mine. For some strange reason, I always wanted to join. It's like, I can't. But I was always intrigued by it. Reading the Mario Puzo books like Godfather, and other books, and it's like, okay, I like this lifestyle, but it's probably not as good as it seems.
Always gotta watch over your shoulder. That sort of deal. So
Yeah. And let's see, TV shows. I'd probably say my two favorite TV shows of all time is Stargate SG-1 and the Battlestar Galactica remake that came out in the early 2000s. I think it was. Maybe it
so
was
went from Mafia to
2000s.
sci-fi. So
Lately, I've been hooked on some Apple TV shows, like The Studio. I've been watching that today. Your Friends and Neighbors, that was a pretty good one with John Hamm. I'm just trying to, find shows that I can enjoy and just have them on the background.
actually, I thought you would have said Sopranos the way you were also doing the whole Mafia deal in the movies there at first.
Oh, that's a good one, too. Then there's another show out now called Dukester. That's pretty good. But the only problem with that is it's a weekly show, so I have to remember to go into the app every week, and sometimes I forget and I have 5 to catch up on.
Yeah, they'll keep you on your toes. So, I was kind of the same way, but I was more into like the Martin Scorsese sort of movies with the Goodfellas, Casino.
Oh, yeah.
They count Wolf of Wall Street, but that was not so much mafia based, but it was still illegal activity going on there too. But so,
See, what wasn't those? Growing up, I was a huge Chuck Norris and Steven Seagal fan.
the whole kung fu fighting and that whole deal.
Yes.
And seeing all the posts about Chuck Norris afterwards. Chuck Norris could just do this, and then the opposite effect will happen with like kicking a shark, for instance, or something.
It's like, I remember Chuck Norris in the 80s. And
He was still kicking
Steven
ass.
Seagal was actually good.
Yeah, they kind of ripped on him recently. It's almost like he's just sitting down. He just seemed like doing all his kung fu fighting or something. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's old. I mean, what do you expect? The guy can't move as well as like what you see like Sylvester Stallone, for instance.
That's true. And there's a TV show called Bad Thoughts that was done by the comedian Tom Segura that came out recently. And he really rips on Steven Seagal in one episode.
Why was he like sitting down and like someone's just coming over, or
I don't know, he had like Steven Seagal is like a 500-pound person. And it was just, it was hilarious.
there's no good deed goes unpunished. So you try to do a scene in a movie right here too. People just make a nice little meme and comic sketch out of it. So
Yeah, that's the one problem about social media these days. You never know what you're gonna do that's gonna end up on social media that you might not know about. I mean, growing up in the 80s, I didn't have to worry about anything. Who's gonna see it? There's no cameras everywhere.
nowadays, well, I kind of blame Elon for it there too, because it seemed like Twitter nowadays called X seemed to really kind of go maybe a little too far with like showing footage about crazy stuff going on, to say the least here too. So kind of desensitizes society in a way when you think about it.
I agree. There's nothing left up to imagination these days.
No, it's almost like you can't make this up, but it's almost like I think yeah we can, because sometimes we put it into movies and TV shows. So I think we're not surprised at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I know back when you'd hear a bad word on TV back in the 80s, like, whoa, did they really say that? Now you hear it in every show. It's like, whoa, this is common.
or you get like the political violence, or it's now a political agency that's trying to take over the world, that sort of stuff, or do something sinister. So yeah.
Yeah. And for us, the bad thing is you kind of expect to say, okay, yeah, I can see that happening.
It's like either way, someone's going to die, especially if it's like a character or an actor, that either dies a lot or you just know something bad's going to happen.
Yeah. It's not like back in the day with Star Trek, where if they wore a red shirt, you knew they were going to die.
Not so much the yellow. I thought maybe not, because I think some of the ones who wore yellow or any other colors always seem to make it through.
Yeah, it seemed like the yellow shirts were normally good ones, like Chekhov or somebody, but the red shirts, and if you didn't know them, yeah, they're dying this episode.
At some point. Either way, someone's going to die. So,
Yes.
all right. All great choices there. So, I think you mentioned a beer earlier, so I guess what would you say is your favorite alcoholic drink, and then what's your favorite non-alcoholic drink?
I'm not a big drinker, but when I do drink, it's usually a Spotted Cow beer that's made for in Wisconsin. I don't think you can get it anywhere except Wisconsin. And then there's a beer that I wish I could get in Wisconsin called Yingling. It's like I go down to Florida and I have to have it, but here I can't find it anywhere. It's like, come on.
Not even a draft version.
What?
I was gonna say not even a draft version of Yingling, or at least I thought they would add something.
No, there's no Yingling here at all. Supposedly, I thought I heard Miller bought them, but I still can't find it on the shelves anywhere. But I tell you, as soon as I get down to Florida, I'm at Walmart buying a 12-pack. It's like, no, I'm getting some.
So for somebody special, is what the cashier might be saying to you afterwards. So, yeah, me, myself, and I. So yeah.
Yes, I'm only buying a 12-pack. I'm not buying a case or two.
I mean, we know you're trying to start conversation here too, but it's almost like, hey, respect the silence in this case. So, okay, but continue. I guess what's your favorite non-alcoholic drink?
That's a tough one. Probably the thing I drink the most is water. Drink about a gallon a day at least. So that'd probably be one of my favorite drinks. If it's not water, I'm probably drinking a Coke Zero or a Sprite Zero or a Starry. And then you can't knock the Faygo. Once in a while, you just have to have the nice cheap Faygo soda.
You know, anytime I see the ones that, like the Coke Zero in this case is here too, is it still got that flavor, or do you think the sugar is what really made Coca-Cola pop?
It still has for me, it still has a flavor. It's maybe not as strong as a Coke, but it's not as weak as a Diet Coke.
It's at least not as a heart attack inducing as a Diet Coke in this case, since the diets are just as bad as the regulars, as people would say. So,
yeah. I've actually had a doctor tell me I would drink a regular Coke versus a diet soda because of the artificial stuff they put in the diet. It's like, man, that was different 20 years ago.
yeah, the whole diet thing was the rage back in the day. So,
yeah.
All right.
And they had the baked chips come out, and those are supposed to be the best things. And I don't think anybody really has the baked chips anymore like they did back then, because they were doing a lot of damage. Yeah, they'd help you lose weight, but you were spending a lot of time, in the bathroom or somewhere because of the ingredients they put in it.
It's almost like laxatives. They just happen to lace it with laxatives. So you pretty much feel the rush. They just got to rush in there and just chocolate Niagara Falls is coming out the back end there. So
yeah, and it's like, see you 3 hours later.
I guess. Yeah.
I know Weight Watchers had a candy back then too that was really good, but they said do not eat more than 1 or 2 a day. My mom worked with someone who really enjoyed them. So much they would take some from my mom, so they bought some and ate the whole package or 2 packages in 1 day, and they paid for it over a weekend.
Was it's still alive after that, or is it just wrecking the digestive system, just trying to expunge everything?
I'm sure they're still alive, but they definitely weren't touching that stuff again.
There's a good reason they say just 1 or 2 a day. So,
yeah.
Okay. All good choices right there. Okay. For less of fun questions, all right. This one might be tough, but let's see what you can do here. So, if you do have a favorite song of all time, you can feel free to share. Otherwise, if that's too tough, you can pretty much answer this one instead, but just list your top 5 bands of all time.
Those are both really hard questions, but if I had to list my top 5 bands of all time, I'll stick on the rock side to make it a little easier. And not in any certain order, it would be Dream Theater, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Kiss, and Def Leppard. As far as a favorite song of all time, it's kind of cheating, but there's Kiss on their Revenge album had a tribute to Eric Carr, and it was called Car Jam. and it was basically just him playing in that really great drum solo. So I'd probably say that was one of my favorite songs of all time.
Which album was the Revenge one? Did that come out late 70s or more in the 80s?
Revenge, that album came out in, I think it was 92, the same year that Iron Maiden's Fear of the Dark and Megadeth's Countdown for Extinction came out. So I think it was 92 or 93. All three albums are great. All three albums I got hooked on at the same time. That's how I remember they all came out around the same time period. It's like, oh, this is a good song. Oh, this is good.
Got hit with the back to back in this case. So yeah.
Yeah, for a while there, those were the three cassettes I would play when I was out on my bike taking a ride somewhere. It's like, yeah, has to be these three. And I probably went, destroyed a few cassettes by doing that. Then I had to buy them on CD.
Eventually, that was a little wear and tear. So yeah. So I guess you still collect physical copies these days, whether it's the cassettes, vinyls, and CDs from certain bands these days.
I would say sometimes. The problem with CDs, I have no way of playing them really, because I haven't had a new car since 2019 that actually had a CD player in it, and it really made me mad in 2019. Like, so I got the new car, I went out, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna listen to the CD and go for a cruise. I'm like, where's the CD player? So that actually pushed me into using Spotify more. Because I need music. I have to have music when I drive, and I'm not listening to the radio.
It's unfortunate, but yeah, it is true. So you can see why.
But I do have a couple albums I picked up. Like I got Motionless in White, Ice Nine Kills, Ghost, several Metallica. So I haven't bought any recently, but I bought those over the last year or two. It's like, hey, I got to get this.
All right. All great choices right there, too. All right. So, Chris, we're down to one more question on my podcast right here. Before we jump into it, would you like to ask me anything, or would you like to hold on to it when I come on the Line Down Roars at some point?
I was going to ask you, do you want to come on the Line Down Roars? Because I'm sure we would love to have you on the show.
I would be honored. So,
I'm not sure how timing works, but it's usually Thursdays at 6 p.m. Central. So 7 p.m. Eastern. I think you're in Eastern time zone.
you'd be correct. So yeah. I guess just work out with John and then just send me a message whenever you got an opening. Sound good?
Sounds good. Oh yeah, we have plenty of openings. I just got to make sure they have nobody else lined up yet, because I kind of handed out to them this week and said, hey, figure this out, because I got other things going on. So I'm doing a lot of life coach and fitness coach stuff so I can improve my life and then hopefully help improve others. But I had my vacation and then it was time to hit the books again.
We had our 2-week vacation or PTO, whatever it is that people now use these days. But now we're back in the office. So yeah.
Yeah, my last job was nice because I had unlimited PTO. It's like all I had to do was say, hey, I need this time off, and I would get it. The only bad side is I had to go down about 5 hours south of here into Illinois 1 week a month to visit my second plant. It's like, yeah, I don't mind having the vacation time, but I don't like driving through Chicago that often.
Yeah, like a traffic congestion could be a little tough mentally, that whole deal. So yeah.
Yeah, plus all the tollway, and I was like, yeah, okay, so I got to pay $20 to get to work, plus gas and mileage, but at least I got I got paid mileage, so I got made money back, but no.
They don't cover the tolls. They don't do it as a tax deduction afterwards. So
yeah, I tried with the tolls, like, yep, sorry, we're not paying them. I'm like, okay.
so much for the easy pass. So
Oh, I got one of those, but it's still, so it cuts down the cost a little bit, but yeah, it's fun. It does come in handy going to Florida because you can use it in other states and can definitely get places. Except I don't think you can use it in Atlanta alone. To me, Atlanta is the worst area to drive through.
I think I kind of agree, because it's almost like trying to drive think it was like 6 lanes of traffic or something. Yeah, so it was almost like driving through LA. So yeah.
Yeah, when I was in Atlanta, there was the 6 lanes, and it was when I was coming home last week. And I was like, okay, I was in the far left lane because that's where Google Maps told me I had to be. But then the last second, it switched to the far right lane. I'm like, I can't get over.
I can only do so much. So yeah.
It's like, I already don't like the city, but now I got to get up the highway, travel through the city to get back on the highway. It's like, no.
We'll stick more to the middle lane going forward, so at least know where we're going. So
Yeah, don't trust Google Maps.
I guess not, but I don't know what the other GPSs use to kind of get you from point A to point B. So not sure if it's like their own little program or something. I don't know.
And it might just be me, because there's plenty of times where Google Maps will do that to me. Like, oh, yeah, keep going straight the last second. Turn here. Like, how can I turn here?
Recalculate. Turn right now. So,
Yeah.
jeez.
It did that once to me. Oh, turn left, go straight for another 4 miles. Okay, I go a mile, and it says recalculating. Why are you recalculating?
Capers also needs an update too, maybe. So, okay. Any other questions or anything?
I can't think of anything right now. I know I should, but I'm sure we'll have some for you in the Lion Den.
To be continued, or at least we'll figure something down the line. So, all right.
Yes. I'm just not used to being the one being interviewed.
Yeah, I think you've been used to being the interviewer, and then you're supposed to be talking to me instead. So, but I think, actually, believe it or not, I think I asked a question like, "Who else would you like to see on my podcast?" And people, it might have been Joe Boo, I'm not sure, but a couple other people would say like, "Hey, get these guys to do their own little podcasts and shows and that sort of stuff." And they said Dukester podcast, so I was like, "All right, I'll give it a try." That's why I reached out to you back last year, I should say. So yeah.
Yeah, and I wish I would have, I wish I could have worked it out back then. But no, a lot more happened, a lot more is going on, so it's probably a good time.
Yep, reached out at the right time. So I had to reintroduce myself, so just wanted to be safe rather than sorry. So
It's like a year ago, whenever it was, when you contacted me, I had the playlist, that was it. Oh, and I had the tournament of bands that was going on, and that was a headache.
I can imagine. So
Yeah, I had a good idea, but before I knew it, I had probably 300 bands in it, and just like, yeah, no, I made a mistake here.
yeah, we had to back out of it, unfortunately. So
Yeah, I had like 8 different brackets with, I think, 32 bands in each one, or it was something crazy. It's like, why didn't I just limit it to 30 bands to begin with? Here, it's done.
yeah, but we had to go for the magic number 300. No deal.
Yeah.
Oh, or the whole thing was doing the Spartan chant or something.
That was one of the times where my brain wouldn't, just leave me alone. It's like, hey, no, keep going. And it hit me on the way back from a Florida trip. It's like, no, you have to do this. Okay.
I guess, but it's almost like don't listen to that little voice in your head at times. So
Yeah, they say it won't steer you wrong, but it will steer you wrong.
or create a little too much stress in your life that is more than the brain can handle. So
Yeah, you can trust like Google Maps, but once in a while, it'll throw a curveball at you.
I guess so. So, all right. There's no other questions. Here's how the last one goes. So, given a lot of the negativity that's been kind of going around the world, including some of the stuff that's kind of been going on in your life, I guess, what sort of message of hope would you give to musicians and people out there who perhaps are being impacted by a whole lot of negativity or going through something similar that you went through in your life?
I would say don't give up. Take time, reflect on what you have going on, reflect internally, and see how you want to proceed. I mean, this year, I lost my job. I'm looking at being disabled. My wife, whose father-in-law or stepfather died in December, started spiraling downhill. Then as soon as I lost my job, I found out that she was leaving me. And she gave me a month, but she didn't really give me a month. She just took that month mail stuff to her mom's house. It's like, okay. And then she was gone. And I'm like, man, I've lost everything. But I took the time to say, hey, looking back at my life, I've chased happiness everywhere I went. Oh, I'm not happy with this job, so I'm going to switch jobs. I'm still not happy, so I'm going to switch jobs again. And the thing is, I didn't take time to get to know who I was as a person and find out that I create my own happiness. And a lot of bands and a lot of people get trapped in the negativity that they lose track of who they are. And that's the thing. You need to take the time to reflect, know who you are, and realize that life is going to have negative moments, but as long as you know who you are, you can get through it. And if you can't, there's plenty of people out there you can reach out to, like Punk in the Corn. I think 60% of their proceeds is going to either a Wounded Warrior charity or a mental health charity. People are out there willing to help others. So if you find yourself in a spot where you need the help, don't be afraid to reach out. I mean, people, for the most part, are not here to judge you. We're here to work with you and build you up. And that's how I always looked at Dukester podcast family. I wanted to lift the bands up, build them up, get them get them more fans, because life is too short not to enjoy it.
Spoke like a true prodigy. So, yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Chris. It really does mean a lot, and good to see you are doing well there, mate. So, sorry for all the good. We could say the bad shit that kind of hit you there in the early part of the year, and I guess even a little bit of last year there too. So,
I gotta say, one thing that hit me the hardest about my wife leaving was that she was taking our cats. So, the day after she left, I was over at the local rescue center getting 2 new cats. I'm like, that's what I'm gonna miss the most. So yeah, I took care of it. It's like, no, take your cats. I got my cats now, and they've helped me get through everything because they've taught me what love actually is. Just the way I'll be sitting on the couch. The next thing I know is they're both fighting to lay on my chest or lay next to me. It's like, okay, this is what life is supposed to be.
so instead of the emotional support dog, we got emotional support cats in this case.
Yes. Hey, I'm not kidding. Yeah, the very next day we were out me and my mom went out to the rescue center. The one was walking around. We liked her, so we got her. Then I was looking for a second cat. I reached into the one box this one was hiding in. He grabbed my hand and pulled it to pet his chest. I'm like, yep, this is the one we're getting.
That's good to hear. And I guess that explains why you always got cat pictures when you were doing the Facebook posts and that sort of stuff.
Yes. And I gotta say, my going to Florida from those that week and a half, 2 weeks, definitely helped me find my smile again. But you're hanging out with John and Kimmy and Chris Brandon, Joe Boo, Arcana. It's hard not to enjoy life at that point.
That's for sure. So, God bless those people there too, and even God bless you too, there, Dukester. So,
yes, right. A lot of great people out there.
That's for sure. Hey, I've interacted with a good number of people here too on my podcast. So, I actually passed 300 episodes not too long ago. So
awesome.
So it's still going strong in the indie world, we should say. Still trying to get out there too.
You've been doing this for what now? A couple of years?
I keep wanting to say 2021, so that's when at least officially started. But it was also just doing individuals who were just maybe strictly YouTube, for instance. And eventually, when I stumbled upon Vox and Sticks, they kind of opened the doorway for like other indie musicians. And their so-called band together page, which was a public spot at the time, but unfortunately, they kept getting like either the bad band or the bad promoters who were quote unquote fake, to say the least. That whole deal. So eventually, they made it like a private channel. So you can see why.
A Parlay group is a great place to be. It's not to be confused with the other group that's out there who's trying to compete with Band Together, that I was an admin of in the beginning, but they kicked me out because I wouldn't follow their rules and restrictions.
Quote unquote rules and restrictions. So yeah.
And I wasn't active enough for their stuff. It's like, wait, I'm doing all these playlists, I'm doing the shows, I'm not active enough. Yeah, I'm not active enough in your group, but I'm more community focused.
You wonder why I have a little faith in humanity when you think about it. So,
yeah.
But Chris, we have reached the end of my podcast right here. We talked a little over an hour and 30-some minutes. But
Wow.
got any final words? You want to give any shout outs to anybody?
Definitely want to give some shout outs to my Indieverse and Mark Opperman. Definitely to Kimmy of Mama's Main Studio. If you need any artwork done or videos, I highly recommend reaching out to her. John of the band Superposition. He also has a mixing and mastering service called Itchy Throne Records, and he's willing to help bands out. Brian Mullen, my co-host from Wednesday nights. Definitely needs a shout out because he's another person that helped me keep going through everything that went on. And the entire indie community. We definitely wouldn't be here without people like you hosting shows like this, because you help us know each other. You show us, behind the scenes. It's like it's easy to listen to music and just know it from that, but getting to know the band or getting to know their thinking process definitely makes a difference. Takes me back to the VH1 behind the music or pop-up videos type of thing. So definitely.
Always willing to help out in any sort of way there too. So that's at least helped diversify the channel, so I wasn't just doing drum covers the whole time, which is a saturated market to say the least. So
yeah, but if you enjoy doing it, it's worth doing it. That's the thing. Podcasts, our playlists were saturated, and I think for a little bit there, I think I was doing one playlist a day with 50 songs on it. I'm like, okay, this is going to be too much. I burned myself out and had to readjust how I was doing things. I do have a country music playlist out there called Lever Action Top 45. That's a mixture of the Music Road chart of their top 20 artists mixed in with indie artists. And me and Brian Mullen put that one together and keep that one going on a monthly basis.
good man, Chris. Thank you for everything that you do there too. But just real quick, what social media and streaming platforms are you on for the audience so they can check you out and also interact there too?
Oh, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on, let's see, trying to remember the pages. Dukester Podcast Family. There's a Dukester Entertainment Family group. There's the Lions Mosh Pit group, the Lions and Roars page, DPF radio page. I try to use that to post about my radio shows on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Those are probably the main spots. I would say the main source would be Dukester Podcast Family, because I do try to share everything there as long as Facebook isn't restricting me. Or you can come join my Indieverse and definitely learn more about me, more about my projects, as well as several other bands. There's a spot for writers, spot for artists, any creation type. It was built by creators for creators. And then somehow I got into it.
For the people, by the people, represented by Dukester, aka Chris. So there you go.
Yes. There's just a lot of nice things out there for the indie world, and a lot of ways to learn about people and connect with bands. You don't really have that in the mainstream world. In the mainstream, all your bands have somebody running their pages, and you never really get a chance to connect with the band. Because I guarantee if you go to Metallica's page, you're not talking to Metallica, you're talking to somebody on their payroll at some level, and probably a low level.
Yeah, it was kind of the same way because I was trying to reach out to the death metal band Nile. I don't know if you heard about him, but
oh yeah, great band.
I did say him live, and happy birthday to Carl Sanders too. He turned 62 not too long ago. I was like, Jesus, that guy's old. So,
Man.
But anyway, I tried reaching out because I was trying to get him on, and I was talking with somebody else. I wasn't talking with anyone directly from Nile. So you are right in that regard. Yeah, it would be nice. But then they go to like the podcasts that have like the real big audience, for instance, or to spread the word in that case. So it is what it is.
One episode of Lions and Roars actually has over 1,300 views, and that's because we had the band MX the American on, and I think they have over 50,000 people following them on Facebook. So it does help.
Yeah, good old Rat Ray Tyrell. That guy was awesome. So
yes.
Actually, I'm on too, so he was spreading the word a good bit. So we'll see how that one goes.
Yeah, he's good at that, getting his fans involved, and
that'll stick, yeah. But to close out like this, everyone, my guest today was Chris, aka Dukester, also known as Dukester podcast and all the other stuff, as well as the newest projects that he has been doing. Also, his little website that he has hovering above his head, www.myindieverse.com. So go hit up all the socials and everything here too. Let's go help our brother out right here because this guy's been doing a lot for us. And you also catch him at Punk in the Corn this year. We get the Fraz Band and other groups coming along here too to spread their music and all that stuff. But it's a good thing that what Timmy and the boys are doing out there too. So God bless you guys for what you do out there too. So Chris, I want to thank you again so much again for coming on. So you do stay safe because you know it is one pretty fucked up world out there. Rock on. Hey, real quick, I need a pose. Stay tuned, y'all.